Hey, everybody, and welcome in. It's the Poor Man Fantasy Football League podcast. We're the fantasy football show that gives you a peek inside the life and times of our Dynasty League. I'm your host, Mike, and with me, as always, is my friend Andrew. And this week, we are going to be reeling from what happened in week 2. That's about the best way to describe it. It is Wednesday night, September 18th, the eve of my birthday. Just going to throw that out there. Yay, me.
Hey,
I'm getting older.
Birthday.
It was a rough week. We suffered a lot of injuries, and they just keep compounding. Nobody's coming back as of yet, so let's just go right off the hop here with injury news. Hang on.
Brutal injury news.
I said play. Dang it! There she is. She's back. The injury tracker, we're using ESPN, or that's what I'm using to review. But here's kind of the big names. Justin Herbert is playing through an injury currently. He's limited at practice. Tua Tagovailoa, he took that big hit, concussion protocol. He's been placed on IR as he goes and consults outside neuro doctors.
And I think he's done.
He should be done. Seeing what has happened to a couple other quarterbacks, and this is not concussion related, but just the longevity of what it does to your body playing football. Yep. And it's not worth it. You get paid a lot of money and you love the game, and I get the competitive nature of it, but the long-term effects, it's not worth it.
Somebody in his life better be, saying like, look, enough is enough. You don't want to be like one of those boxers that had 1,000 too many punches to the head.
Yeah. You got kids. He's got 2 kids.
Yes.
Things you need to think about.
Yeah.
So continuing on with the injury news, we know Tajay Spears is injured. Joe Mixon is injured, but might not be serious. Isaiah Pacheco broke his leg. He's out 8 weeks. They have not placed him on IR yet, though.
I think they're trying to figure out who's going to actually be the backup and then do that.
Okay, well, they did bring in Kareem Hunt. He re-signed, and we'll talk a little about that in a second. Yeah. But Isaiah Pacheco, I assume, will go on IR before the weekend so that they can start the clock. Yeah. Tank Bigsby is injured. Don't think it's serious. Pierre Strong is injured. And those are kind of the notable running backs. Let me see if I get all of the wide receivers, not including the ones that were injured last week, right? Week 1, so Puka and company. Let's add Cooper Kupp, his teammate. Justin Jefferson, which sounds like it's just a bruise on the quad or thigh bruise, so he's going to work through that. David Bell, who's irrelevant. A.J. Brown, which burnt me. Thankfully, I still won the week, but A.J. Brown being out was a bit of a scary situation. Now, Deebo Samuel is going to be out sidelined for a few weeks.
Yeah, and Brown is out already. They've already announced him out for this week.
He's got a hamstring injury, so he's going to be out for a few weeks. It's just, It's tough. Tight ends, Taysom Hill had a chest injury. Sounds like he's going to be okay. Might miss this week. Dave Njoku is out. Evan Ingram is out.
Yeah.
But tight ends aren't performing, so we're kind of at a loss here. The best tight end in football is Brock Bowers.
Yeah. Hey, they haven't had a bad start. They haven't had.
All right.
But
any other injuries that I miss?
Not that I can think of.
Anything new that popped up?
I mean, the big one was A.J. Brown. Like game time decision Monday. Well,
he's out.
Yeah, like if they had said like Sunday morning, he's out. In the fantasy world, you could have swapped the guy out for somebody else.
You could have had, but no. Like as an owner, him playing on Monday night, it's like there's no risk. I don't own a backup.
Yeah,
like Jahan Dotson or Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
sorry, I don't.
No, or even another wide receiver on the other team, right? Or a flex person. Like there's only 2 teams playing that Monday night, so it's tough to get.
Hey, maybe that's why they're trying to get 2 Monday night games to be a thing.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe they're trying to help us fantasy managers out. They have more Monday night games, so we have more players and options on Monday night. Oh, interesting. Okay, because this week there are 2 Monday night games.
Yeah. Well, I think what they're trying to do is just they're trying to wrangle up more viewership.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's a regionalized game, a game in the West and a game in the East, the people in the West aren't necessarily going to watch the game in the East, and the East maybe not so much in the West. Especially the East, because if the West game doesn't start till 6:00 their time, that's already 8:00 in the East. Who's staying up till midnight to watch the end of the game, right?
It is a challenge.
Now every sport has it. NHL, NBA, like
Yeah, the time shift is always.
if you live in New York and your favorite team is LA, yeah, you're never gonna.
You're up later. You're watching it on PVR.
Yeah, exactly. If you can even get your team to be shown locally on your service.
Well, from what I gather, it looks like it's easier and harder to get games in the U.S. because you could get an NFL Sunday ticket for a fraction of the price of what it costs up here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's like beer prices. Up here, beer is prices we're comfortable with, and then you go down to the U.S. and beer prices are half to a third of what they are here. But that's the same for their media content.
Yeah.
Media content is ridiculously cheaper, much like their telecom services. Everything like those kind of services are ridiculously cheaper compared to what we pay, which is why I don't subscribe to any of them here. But I would down there. Like it would make total sense.
Yeah.
That like, hey, I want to watch a football game, but I also want to watch it, pause it, have 4 games split on my screen, and have some of those additional services. Like that would be fun.
Yeah. Oh, for
Not
sure.
spending the several $100s for that package.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. In other news, Kareem Hunt did sign with the Chiefs as a result of Isaiah Pacheco's injury.
But I was reading he's on the practice squad.
Well, he's got to get acclimated. So imagine him signing is just to give them depth and familiarity with some of what they do.
Yeah.
But let's assume it's 2 weeks before he gets elevated to the main squad. So they're running with Samaje Perine and Carson Steele. Now, I've listened to some pundits, and Carson Steele is the fantasy choice because of the potential of the upside.
Yeah.
Because Samaje Perine has been around for a while. They know what to expect from him. And he was recently cut from his team, which is why he ended up being picked up by the Chiefs. So it's not like he's been a sought-after player.
Exactly.
Now, I haven't watched Carson Steele play. I imagine you have.
Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of touches. And he is more of just the bruiser, the bash guy. I'm going right up the middle, and I'm going to take 3 guys along with me to get my 4 yards. But when you're a runner like that, you become exposed to fumbling. Like he fumbled in the Cincinnati game, and the guy just punched the ball out. You got 4 guys jumping on your back to try and tackle you, and they're all punching. You can lose the ball once in a while, and I think that's going to kind of be the trade-off with this guy. Like I don't expect him to be able to break off a 60-yard touchdown run like Pacheco could. I don't think he's got the speed.
Okay.
But good luck getting him down. Like his average could be 5 yards a carry, just because he's so powerful that he's carrying a couple of guys, right? So it'll be interesting to see how they use him, because I think Perine is more of a pass catching back as well too, right?
Yeah.
So
it could be split work.
Yeah, I think it very much will be, and I think it'll be a situation whereby whoever's blocking the best for Mahomes, is going to get the workload, because I think now they're going to start passing even more.
I would hope so. I would hope this would be a trigger to say, hey, Kelsey, guess what? You actually have to do something to earn that paycheck.
Yes. Like I put in our notes, stop playing with Tay-Tay and start playing some football.
Yeah. And if you're done, buddy, just pack it in.
Yeah.
Don't just take up a spot.
Because Noah Gray, or whatever is
Noah Gray,
he's starting to show flashes of more consistency. So he might be the guy to take over if Kelsey just can't step up anymore.
Which would be great as a guy who owns Noah Gray in several leagues, because I've been hanging on to this kid for like forever, waiting, thinking this is the year Kelsey's going to pack it in. Well, maybe it might be forced upon him.
Well, that, or if he gets injured, right? Because if he thinks now I got to put the team on my shoulders, and he's going out there to try and do stuff he can't physically do anymore, and he gets hurt. Right?
We'll find out.
The team's got to play smart right now.
They are facing off against, who do they got? The Chiefs. Chiefs.
They got Atlanta this week. They're at
the
Atlanta.
Atlanta Falcons. They are projected to, they are 3.5 point favorites over the Falcons. Now, Falcons just upset in glorious fashion the Philadelphia Eagles, who seem to be bumbling.
Yes. And then the other one that's kind of stumbling is, did you catch it? Bumbling, stumbling. The guy from ESPN.
No.
Oh. the announcer guy that does the fastest 2 minutes. Berman.
Oh.
That's one of his biggest things, like when the guy's rumbling, stumbling, bumbling.
Oh, nope, did not pick that up.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, the other team that seems to, and maybe it's just a blip, but San Francisco did not look good.
No. They looked rough for some reason.
Yep, maybe Debo going down and McCaffrey not there.
Yeah, they are a team that when they have their weapons, they roll. But when they don't have their weapons, and obviously their weapons are Debo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Ayuk, Kittle, and everybody else are byproducts of the system. They are not the pillars.
Exactly. And when those pillars are fallen, the whole house of cards could fall. It's the same in Kansas City. When your top few guys aren't 100%, they look pedestrian, right?
Right.
3/4 of the season last year, Kansas City wasn't blowing people out. They were winning by slimmer margins. So, I mean, they're not even in first place in their division, I don't think. I think the Chargers are ranked number 1.
Okay, it's only 2 weeks, folks. It's only 2 weeks. Like, take everything with a grain of salt.
The Super Bowl starts next week.
Yeah, no. All right, other news. The Steelers are going to keep rolling with Justin Fields, who's not great for fantasy football, but they're winning real football games.
Yes.
So I guess until he stumbles, there's no need to switch to Russell.
Well, yeah, why?
If you're winning, you're winning.
Ride the hot hand. If they go 18 or 17-0 and he only ends up with, 15.
If he has a Chicago Bears quarterback stat line.
Yeah, but who cares, right? You're 17-0.
Yeah, the thing is they won.
Yeah.
So while we're chatting here, I'm actually just going to go and grab the details regarding our waivers. Boop. There we go. That's now in there. Okay, let's talk some league news. We're going to kick that off with the Sleeper Report. Sleeper Report. We do 5 categories here. We're looking at the best manager, worst manager, narrowest victory, highest score, and lowest score of the week that we dub Poor Man of the Week. Special guest on this one. The best manager of the week happens to be former champion Ice and Metal Marvin with 89% accuracy. It's been an off week. Our starters did not perform for a lot of us, and the bench kind of, they did well. The worst manager of the week was you, Andrew. You had so many points on your bench, not in your starting roster. You only scored 65%.
Yes.
Well, those bench points just...
On my bench. What did I have on my bench? Let me just go with my...
I'm assuming you had something special. Somebody big.
Let's see here.
While you're looking, the narrowest victory goes to Ice and Metal and Bryce with a variation of 3.36 points. Ice just edged him out, I think, from Thursday night or Monday Night Football to take that win. So congratulations, boys. That was nice and close. Yeah. The highest score of the week was Marvin with 133.42. So congratulations. And before we get to the Poor Man of the Week, Andrew, did you have a look at your bench? What was hiding on there?
Like Hunter Henry had he
had a big game.
15 points. Lovis had 13.7 points.
Yeah, that's a Cincinnati Bengal wide receiver, right? Yoshi Voss?
Yeah, I drafted him, and then he kind of, every time I put him in last year, he did nothing. When I took him out, he's my Khalif Raymond again.
You never know when he's going to hit. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But that was, really, those were the 2 guys that had points on the bench. I had CJ Stroud, who had 1630, but Mahomes had...
That's okay. So. Well, your bench was so rough.
Yeah.
because your starters were even worse. Your final score on the week puts you as poor men of the week with a whopping 60.34 points. And that, my friend, is worth the sploosh. Gurgle, 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 gurgle. Ah! If I had a graphic to spin you around, I would. Now, I want to give you a bit of history here. Of all of the lowest scores we've ever recorded, where do you think you rank?
Third, I would say.
That's exactly where you rank.
Oh, really?
That's a great guess. Holy crap. Yeah, so Donnie holds the record for number 1 and number 2 at 50.24 and 54.4. You now slotted in at number 3, which
Bronze
Donnie
medal.
held. Donnie held at the number 3 spot with 62.9.
Yeah.
And then we had where was it? Oh, I can't sort. 65? Was it the 65 one? Yeah, 65, which was Gabriel at 65.76.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that's low, dude. Like that is
Well, when you get Travis Kelce, who was projected to get like 14 points, he gets 1.
Yep.
Keon Coleman was projected
0.
to do like I think 6 or 7 points and got me 0.
Yeah, like what happened?
You know, like who knows?
Disappeared off the face of the
Moss
earth.
disappeared, only 5 points. Elliott disappeared, only 4 points. Right? Like hey, I own it. It was the lineup I put in.
Yeah.
And I was favored to win big time.
Yeah, that is an upset. Now let me add some clarity here, folks. As a result of this week's matchups, the league has now shifted itself back into balance.
Yes, this is like one team was 2-0 and everybody else is 1-1.
Except for the last, so there is a 2-0 team and there's an 0-2 team, and the other 8 are 1-1.
Yeah.
So the winners last week became the losers this week.
Yeah. And you know what I get for having such a great week? I get to go against Ice and Metal this week.
He's on a roll, man. He's on a roll.
So, yay me.
Hey, you know what? Now it's time for a bounce back.
Send me the pity votes, guys. Send me some pity votes.
Okay. You know what? That reminds me. While we're doing this, would you mind talking a little bit about the waiver wire while I shout out to the league about getting their picks in?
So the most recent ones yesterday, there was a bunch. Slick picked up Cream Hunt.
He spent too.
$56. There was
out of our 100
5 other bids. Chervin went tried to get him for 37. Juan tried for 35. Donnie tried 26. Ice Metal tried at 9. I wasn't even jumping on that bus again. It burnt me before.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, if he only plays like 2 or 3 weeks and can get you 20 points a game, good on you.
That's a stretch. I don't think he gets you 20 points a game.
No. 1, 2, 3 picked up Jalen Naylor. Mm-hmm. Again, he spent high on that one, $25 as well. Dropped Cavante Turpin.
Yeah, I think that is the kick returner for the team.
Yeah.
So if you're in a kick return league, that guy gets a lot of kick returns. But because you know why I know this? Because I'm using in my guillotine league. Yeah. I went heavy and drafted running backs, knowing fully well the scoring format of this league, and grabbed some names of wide receivers, knowing fully well that I'm going to punt these guys and go grab the kick returners.
Yeah.
I couldn't get anybody to bite and send me any money or fab or anything. So, well.
You'll take their guys as they fall off in the guillotine.
That's right. As I survive week to week by the seat of my pants.
Yeah. And then Donnie picked up Bretton Strange.
Yeah, he was the second round tight end Jacksonville took a long time ago, but did nothing because they had Evan Ingram. With Evan Ingram out, he's kind of getting worked into the system.
Yeah.
Might be temporary though.
And then Ice Metal picked up Deontay Foreman.
Yeah.
And dropped Pierre Strong. Strong has kind of dropped like a rock in Cleveland there. I'm not sure what
he's injured.
Favor. Oh, is he? Okay.
He's injured. He's not on the field. Dante Foreman and Jerome Ford are kind of sharing the backfield. I thought it'd be Jerome Ford solely, but no, Dante Foreman's getting some work. And then Nick Chubb is projected to be back on the roster by week 9.
Yeah.
So 7 more weeks.
And then last week, I picked up Malik Willis.
Yeah, you did.
The now starter in Green Bay. And dropped Kenny Pickett. Why I still had Kenny Pickett? I don't know.
He scored more points than Kenny Pickett.
Did he? Well, yeah.
Because Kenny Pickett doesn't play football.
Yeah.
He's a backup.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see how Willis does. Is Love back?
No, he's limited at practice. I still think he's going to be out minimum this week and next week. So that would be what, week 3, week 4. We'll probably see him week 5. At the earliest, I think week 5.
Because Sleeper has Malik Willis is projected at 0 points this week.
Well, because they don't know how to grade him.
I guess. Does anybody?
Yeah. It's like, we don't know what you can do because you suck. We saw you.
Yeah.
It's terrible. You know what? Let's talk about our weekly matchups.
Yes.
So last week, it was me versus Josh. Thankfully, I apologize, Josh. This wasn't nice. Josh's team went down to a bunch of injuries. Because I'm thinking, like, oh, crap, I have injuries. Then I lose A.J. Brown. I'm thinking I'm in trouble. Unfortunately, in-game injuries occurred, and that's what elevated me past Josh. Otherwise, it was a very close matchup for most of the weekend. So I got that win. Thankfully, everybody voted me to win. So you guys all get a point. Congrats.
Points for you.
Yay.
Everybody gets points.
Everybody gets points. Now, in the next matchup, this is where things get a little dicey. Chervin does beat Juan. Juan ends up at 0-2. He's having a rough start to the season.
Yep.
Everybody picked Chervin except for Donnie. Donnie picked Juan. So he doesn't get a point.
Yep.
Next matchup, Donnie versus Slick. Everybody picked Slick except for Marvin. Marvin reached out and said, you know what? I think Donnie's got it this week. Lo and behold, Donnie did. He pulled it out. He got the victory. Donnie didn't even pick himself. That's the confidence level he had. He picked Slick to win. So the only person that gets points here is Marvin. So congratulations, Marvin. Now, the Bryce versus Marvin was a split vote for most of us. It was actually 3 versus 3. 3 for Bryce, 3 for Marvin, and the game ended up being the closest matchup of the week. 2 really good teams going head-to-head. The Marvin did edge out Bryce on Monday night. So who got it right? Andrew did, Josh did, and Gabriel did. And Marvin didn't even pick himself.
Wasn't this the one that I said, I'm going to take him just to be different?
I think so, actually. Yeah. And it worked out for you.
Yeah.
So congratulations to those that got points. And then the last one, everybody picked you, Andrew. You were the heavy favorite going against little baby sheep man, Gabriel. You had him dead to rights.
You know why I lost? It's because Gabriel picked me.
Gabriel, that's right. I forgot. If people pick you, you lose. So you lost that matchup. Now here's the standings.
Disgustingly.
Yeah. Donnie went 1-4. He lost this week. I went 2-3. I'm the second loser. And then you, Andrew, Josh, Marvin, and Gabriel all went 3-2. You guys had winning weeks. So congratulations. Round of applause for all of you. So the yearly totals. Where am I at? Yeah, so I'm sitting at 4-6. Andrew, you're leading at 5-5, tied with Josh at 5-5. Marvin is at 4-6. Then we've got Gabriel at 3-2, and then we've got Donnie at 3-7. Bringing up the rear.
3-2, not 3-7.
Nope, he's 3-7. Gabriel only joined in this week, so he only has 1 week of results. That's why the numbers don't look that. But Donnie has sucked for 2 weeks in a row, which is why his numbers add up to 10.
Yeah.
Instead of 5. All right. Now let's talk about this week's matchups. First matchup is actually me versus little baby sheepman Gabriel. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling good, but I'm going to make a significant change to my roster this week. I discovered something, and I think it's funny. I'm a Lions fan. My Lions are playing the Arizona Cardinals. However, the Lions' passing game has not been very good. I have rolled with Jared Goff the first 2 weeks, and he's let me down.
Yeah.
Just for some reason, the passing game just hasn't got off. And then I realized I own Jared Goff as my quarterback. I own David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs as my running backs. And I own Sam Laporta as my tight end. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm looking at the numbers and the stat lines. I'm probably going to pick Kyler Murray, who I own, as my quarterback. I got James Conner as a running back. And I also own tight end Trey McBride as a tight end.
Are you
And
gonna
they
roll the
play
dice?
each other this week.
Are you gonna roll the dice and change that?
I am torn, man. Because in my head, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to swap out Trey McBride. He's been getting more work. And apparently, Sam Laporta is still suffering from an injury he sustained during the preseason, which is why he's been on a limited snap count. He's still getting some targets, running some routes, but it's not working within the passing game yet. So I think, you know what? Maybe this week I'll take a switch. I'll go over and I'm like, who do I got? Like, oh, I've got Trey McBride and I got Kyler Murray. And then I'm like, oh, that's funny. I got James Conner. I'm like, oh crap, they're playing Detroit. Oh crap, I can't.
Put in Steel, Gabriel.
So I'm
Put in Walker, Gabriel.
So yeah, I'm
Gabriel.
officially torn, but I have James Conner, Trey McBride, and Kyler Murray in.
Man.
But I'm still starting Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm still starting Gibbs. Gibbs is a starter. I'm not passing on that one. I got James Conner as a flex, but I do think Trey McBride is a better option here for me at tight end. What I'd like to do is I'd like to get some wide receiver options. I tried trading for Cooper Kupp before Josh and I played, and my offers weren't strong enough, and I'm nervous as all heck. Do I want to pay up and really send, I think, what Josh wants to get Cooper Kupp? He's older. I'm like, if I do this, I'm overpaying for 1 year.
Yeah.
I think for 1 year. I didn't do it. I said, you know what? I'll just go through the week and see what happens. And then lo and behold, boom, he's going to be out for a few weeks with an injury. Bullet dodge.
Yeah.
But I'm still short at wide receiver.
Yeah. In there.
So my roster, just real quick, I'm running Kyler Murray, Jahmyr Gibbs, Alvin Kamara, Stephon Diggs, Michael Pittman, who gets all the targets but can't seem to catch a ball from Anthony Richardson, Trey McBride, Cortland Sutton, David Montgomery in my flex, James Conner in my flex. I don't know if I trust anybody else. Maybe Devin Singletary in my flex over Cortland Sutton. Not really. Brendan Cooks, he's the only guy that seems to get a little bit of work. I could, if I want, take a gamble and put Sam Laporta in because he gets, it seems like, the same amount of work or targets as Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you could even, like throwing him in a flex spot. That doesn't make that's not a silly swap. But hey, oh dude,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You better not.
I gotta pick him.
What?
I gotta pick him over you. I just have a gut feeling. Little baby sheep man is taken down. Go guy, go. Oh, you're gonna leave the L out on him because you're calling him a loser?
Oh man, it's a bad copy paste. Don't put words in my mouth. Well, I'm definitely going me. Like I am not skipping out on that. Little baby sheep man is your choice. I find that pretty bold. He does have Lamar Jackson. He's playing Braylon Allen based off of, obviously what his roster is available. Who had a good week last week. Tajay Spears, who's injured and might not play. Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison, who could go bonkers. Then he's got Brock Bowers, probably the best tight end in the game right now.
Yeah.
Romeo Doubs, who's disappeared because of Malik Willis. And then Quentin Johnson, who catches 2 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, but he's also got on the bench. Like I said, he's got Steele on the bench.
Yeah, he'd probably swap out Carson Steele for Tajay Spears.
Kenneth Walker, if he plays.
Kenneth Walker's still injured. He's still out. Probably can't trust Amari Cooper yet.
I don't know. They're going against the Giants. That could be their turnaround game.
Could be, but you have to trust Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. I just right now I just something in my gut tells me
Okay.
he might take
All
it.
right.
Hey, overall, you got the better team.
I do, but instincts.
I think that matchup is what's going to hurt you. Because what could happen is you throw 3 guys in, and it's the other 3 that get hot, and these 3 get nothing. And then you're like sitting back going like, oh, I want to jump off the roof.
Or I do a combination where, hey, the James Conner can't run on the Detroit defense, but Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison, who's on the opposite side of the game today, is like if he's playing Marvin Harrison, I now want those Kyler Murray points.
Yes.
Because if he gets them, I get them.
Smart. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's going to be closer than what it is because you're favored right now, 110 to 92. If he makes a few changes, he could probably bump up to about 99. And you're right, like that touchdown ratio with Harrison and Murray, and then you hope he throws to your tight end.
Yep, let the touchdowns go to Trey McBride, not to Marvin Harrison. Yeah, let that be a thing.
And then Kyler Murray throws 5 picks.
No, why would you say such an evil thing? So mean to Kyler.
Hey,
it's because he's short, isn't he? Right? Yeah.
No, it's because he screwed me in another league last year.
Well, he was hot last week. All right, matchup number 2, we got Donnie versus Juan. Donnie won last week, kind of by the skin of his teeth. Kind of how he ended up in the championship last year. Juan is reeling from a loss. Let's have a look. Donnie's got Trevor Lawrence, Breece Hall, Rashad White, Brian Thomas, Nico Collins, Mike Gesicki, Jerry Jeudy, Bijan Robinson, and Khalil Shakir. Okay, I'm nervous about Rashad White, but it's against Denver, so he could rebound. Brian Thomas has Trevor Lawrence, who sucks. So I'm not sure I trust Donnie's selection of Trevor Lawrence here. Jerry Jeudy in Cleveland is getting work. Mike Gesicki's kind of getting work with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins not catching the ball. And then Khalil Shakir is an absolute dart throw. It's 0 or a couple points.
Yeah. On the flip side, I worry about Jalen Hurts against New Orleans because New Orleans right now seems to be a hot team.
Ooh, yeah.
Derrick Henry against Dallas. Micah Parsons, that might be a tough running game for Derrick Henry. Chuba Hubbard versus Vegas. Again, Max Crosby. Going to be a tough game to run on. Devontae Adams might be... he might have a good game. Jalen Waddle. Who knows who's going to be the quarterback there? That might be an interesting one. Miami might not do nothing.
Jalen Waddle with Skylar Thompson, I think, is going to get the tap this week. But did you hear the rumor that Cam Newton was on the sideline of practice this week?
No, I didn't hear about that. But
yeah, so don't know if it's just him being weird and showing up to cause interference, or if he's just visiting, or if he's legit being there to look at the job.
Everybody's also saying Tom Brady again, but
sure,
yeah, he's not going to give up $40 million to just talk instead of playing ball on a team that probably wouldn't win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Foster Moreau seems to be doing pretty good. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's getting a start.
Yeah, but he's like low projected points. Tank Dell against Minnesota. Minnesota seems to be beat up a little bit, so Tank Dell might have a good game. Alec Pierce against Chicago. That might be a tough one for him. And Greg Dortch against your
Detroit.
Wouldn't
that be something? Marvin Harrison gets overlooked, Trey McBride gets overlooked, and Greg Dortch feasts.
Yeah. Yeah. So this one's a lot closer than
it is. It is very close. I actually think a sneaky play for Juan is to play Jalen Naylor, who has been getting some significant targets in the red zone. Now, he scored a touchdown in the last 2 weeks, but doesn't get a lot of targets per se throughout the game. But I think if you were to sub him out for a Greg Dortch or Alec Pierce, which again are kind of in the same boat, it's like feast or famine. Although Alec Pierce he's also got a touchdown in the last 2 weeks.
The thing with Jason with Naylor, if Justin Jefferson is truly beat up, he might get more looks because isn't he on your questionable list? Justin Jefferson on the injury list.
Yeah, he is.
So maybe Naylor does have a bigger role this week. This is going to be a tough one. I'm going to let you pick first this time.
I'll go on Juan.
Yeah.
It's not a slight against Donnie,
no.
But I think Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas are going to upset Donnie because they are going to get destroyed by Houston. Nico Collins will be like the saving grace on his roster, but the Brian Thomas and the Trevor Lawrence will kill him.
Yeah, I think Buffalo is just going to swallow Trevor Lawrence up.
Not Buffalo, Houston. Houston will swallow up Trevor Lawrence, shutting down Brian Thomas. The other matchups will play out just fine. They'll get their average, say, points, and then Khalil Shakir will get 0 because he doesn't need to do anything because James Cook will just run all over.
Yeah.
So who are you going with?
Oh, same. I have to take Juan on this one.
You're going to Juan as well. Okay.
Yep.
Well, interesting selections. All right, next matchup. We got Slick versus Chervin. Chervin's currently leading the league with 2-0. He is riding high. Does Slick have what it takes to bring Chervin back into the fold and bring balance to the force? Let's find out. Slick is running with the hot hand and Derek Carr. He's got Kyron Williams, Travis Etienne, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave, Dallas Goedert, Rashid Shaheed. He's playing an entire New Orleans lineup here. He's got Rashee Rice, which I think is going to feast now that Isaiah Pacheco's out, and then Najee Harris. So it's a good-looking lineup.
Yeah, the only question mark for me right now is Najee Harris because they seem to be splitting the
with Jaylen Warren.
Yeah. But on the other side, on the flip side, like Anthony Richards has had a pretty good start. Saquon Barkley up and down, but Pollard is kind of a question mark.
You think Pollard's a question mark? I think he's a safe floor. I don't think he has huge upside, but I think he's just going to get enough work to always deliver what you need.
Yeah, he'll get you anywhere from 8 to 13 points every week.
Okay,
he's going to be consistent. Brandon Ayuk is now going to get more targets.
DJ Moore.
I
feel bad for him.
And Pitts as well. Those two guys, the jury's still out on those two for me. Malik Neighbors. Christian Kirk.
Okay. Hopefully, I don't want to spoil anything here. Christian Kirk is done in football. So if Chervin leaves Christian Kirk in the roster, that's 0 points this week.
Why? What happened to him?
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. He still plays football, but he's done playing football. Does that make sense? He's on the team, but he can't break his starting roster spot. It's Brian Thomas and Gabe Davis. Christian Kirk only comes onto the field in 3 wide receiver sets and plays a position in that 3 wide receiver set that gets no looks from Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is turning out to be a terrible quarterback, or it's the system that they're running. And Christian Kirk is barely on the field and can't seem to get a target. And when he does get a target, it's behind the line of scrimmage for which he's getting tackled. He has more yards for loss than he has targets.
Oh, wow.
So it is, if you run with him, it is a loss.
I mean, you got Williams. He's got Williams on his bench.
Can't play Williams yet.
Why not?
Oh, wait, which Williams? Mike Williams?
No, Jameson Williams.
Okay, so I would rather play Jameson Williams. That would be my first choice. I'd throw him, Jameson Williams in, or I'd actually sneaky start Juwan Jennings, who's actually getting some work now that the situation. Yeah.
I mean, even Palmer for the Chargers, right? Like the Chargers are hot right now. The Chargers are hot right now, so
they are hot, but they're running well, and as long as they're winning, they'll continue to run.
Yeah. Again,
So
this is going to be a
Jameson
tight
Williams,
one.
Juwan Jennings, those are my choices.
This is, again, you look at even the projections, 104 to 106. It's going to be a tight one. It's going to be a tight one.
Yeah, this is gonna be a close matchup.
Yeah. I'm taking Slick.
You're taking who?
Slick.
Yeah, I got to go Slick as well. My reasoning for this is because I think Anthony Richardson comes up against the steel curtain in Chicago. Maybe not the right reference, but I think that Chicago defense is real.
Yes.
And Anthony Richardson can't throw yet. He hasn't shown that he can consistently throw the ball. He might be able to run, but I think they'll contain him. And until he figures out how to be a full-on pass catcher and runner, I think Chicago will actually get another ridiculous win.
Could very well be.
Yeah.
And another one that could have a big game because they have a gap just between the safeties and the linebackers. And it seems to hurt them once in a while. Pitts in Kansas City could feast this weekend.
Do you think Kyle Pitts could actually get some work done, actually be targeted?
You come across the middle and the linebackers are trying to defend the run and the safeties are too far back, and
right,
he could get those 6-7 yard catches, get 5 or 6 of them and a touchdown, and then you got 10-15 points.
All right. Okay, next matchup. We got matchup number 4, Bryce versus Josh. Now, Bryce sitting 1-1. Josh sitting 1-1, but Josh just went through a massive injury influx. So Bryce is rocking Josh Allen against Jacksonville. Devon Achane, that's pretty hot. He's got James Cook. Okay, so he's doubling up on his Bills. Devontae Smith, who's the number 1 target right now for that team with A.J. Brown out. George Pickens. Don't love the pick, unfortunately, because Justin Fields isn't making it work, but still a good wide receiver. George Kittle, who's going to see some targets. Deebo Samuel, who is not going to play. He's got to pull that guy out. Jerome Ford, who's sharing touches. Aaron Jones. Okay, well, it's a good-looking roster. Who does he have that he can swap out? Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Nope, Kadarius Toney. He's got Kadarius Toney. You got Kadarius Toney. Come on, man. You got to drop that. You got to get that gone real quick. That is cancer on your team. Get him gone. Play Calvin Ridley. Those
or
are my
Jordan
thoughts.
Addison. Again, if
I think Jordan Addison's still injured. I think he's still coming back. What does that say? Yeah, he missed practice today.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys on the questionable mark on his.
Oof.
Who else did I see there? Yeah, Ridley Ridley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
On the flip side, yeah, he's got going up against Geno Smith, against Miami, Mason,
Jordan Mason, Brian Robinson.
Yeah. Zay Flowers, Drake London, Dalton Kincaid, Xavier Worthy, who he's been disappointing me lately. Zamir White and Robinson.
Zamir White hasn't been getting enough touches.
No,
Game 1, he was only on the field 38% of the snaps. Week 2, he was only on the field for 63% of the snaps. What happened? Why are they not using him? Is he just super crappy and they're just done?
I'm not sure. I think it might be just the team's not playing bad. So why? Why change it? They don't break what's not. Don't try to fix what's not broken, right? On his bench,
injuries.
Yeah, a lot of injuries.
Nobody to trust.
No, T. Higgins is supposed to come back, but week 1 after an injury, that's tough. Swift from Chicago. That's about it. Wow. Let's see. Who am I gonna go with? I'm gonna go Josh. Even though I'm gonna go Josh.
Okay. You're gonna go Josh. I think that's bold. I went Bryce.
I gotta increase my lead on you.
I realize that you're taking some bold steps. I commend you for it. Hopefully it doesn't pay off. All right, last matchup of the week. We've got you, Andrew, versus Marvin. You kind of highlighted it earlier. It's going to be a tough uphill battle. Marvin's got a killer roster. When they're hot, man, they play. So I'll go through what Marvin's got, and then you talk about your roster. So he's rocking Joe Burrow, who's off to an extremely slow start. Ramondre Stevenson, Josh Jacobs, who's getting a lot of work. Justin Jefferson, who's got the thigh injury. Amon St. Brown, who's just not getting the targets. Mark Andrews, who's being boxed out. DK Metcalf, who's finding a groove. Jonathan Taylor, who's got to deal with his quarterback, Anthony Richardson. And then JK One Leg Dobbins, who's finding a way to make it work off of limited touches. He's efficient and he's doing good things, but he doesn't touch the ball a lot. Yeah. And so he's breaking off massive runs. So as long as he can keep doing that, he's going to be relevant. Now, is there anybody else that Garrett Wilson can't trust him right now?
No, but I mean, O'Donnell or I know Aaron Rodgers is in love with Lazard, but
I don't think he's that in love with Lazard.
No. I think the lineup that he has is probably his best line.
Yeah, the rest are high risk. Like, I don't know. Maybe Garrett Wilson does need to be in the roster. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you get him in, though. I don't know who you would take out. Maybe J.K. Dobbins, because J.K. Dobbins has got to go against Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh does have a really good run defense.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Good. What are you going to do? Let's talk about your team, man. Set it up.
I got Mahomes, Elliott, Joe Mixon, who's they're holding out hope that he's going to play.
Are you holding out hope he's going to play?
I have to.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill, again, that scares me because I don't know who's throwing the ball to him, or
you don't know what that's going to look like.
Yeah, what it's going to look like. I need Mike Evans to bounce back. Godwin took all the catches last week. I need Mike Evans really to bounce back. I need Kelsey to step up. I need Wandale Robinson to step up. Coleman, I'm cutting him if he gets 0 again.
You can't cut him.
And then I need Zach Moss to
perform.
Because really, I don't have anything else on my bench. That's Christian Watson, maybe. Green Bay against Tennessee, maybe. But again, you're going with an unknown quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have a lot on my bench that.
No, like that's.
Help me. No.
It's looking thin, dude.
Yeah.
I got to go Marvin, and it's not a slight to you because you picked Little Baby Sheep, man. No. It's because you do have an uphill battle. You got Elliott, who's not the workhorse. He's sharing the role.
Yeah.
You got Joe Mixon, who I'm going to guess isn't going to play this week. I think they'll roll without Mixon. You got Tyreek Hill without a known competent quarterback. You got Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, who just don't seem to be clicking right now. You're playing Wandale Robinson, who is, he's Wandale Robinson. He's the number 2 wide receiver for Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Keon Coleman, who will only get work as long as the team is down by points, which I don't know if they will be against Jacksonville. So it might be just a rush game.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Zach Moss. I think Zach Moss is an okay start this week. I think he should be okay. But then your bench does not have... Like Yoshi Voss might be a sneaky pick because he's actually getting some targets.
That's the thing. Like week 1, what did he do week 1? Let me just look it up here.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. He got... Oops. Sorry. He got 4 points. He was on the field for 100% of snaps, 6 targets, 4 points. Week 2, though, he was on the field 77%, only got 4 targets, caught 2 of them, but both of those were touchdowns.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he's going to become the
tight end-ish guy,
the end zone hog. I don't know. Like again, if Mixon or not Mixon, if Mixon can't go, maybe I move Moss into the running back role, and then Lovish
Yoshivas is what his name is.
Yoshivas, whatever. Throw him in flex. I don't know. I like you. I got to bet against myself this week. I got to go.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
I'm hoping I'm wrong, just from a fantasy from the league standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to be sitting 2-1, not 1-2.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the matchups. I chose myself, Juan, Slick, and Bryce. You chose Little Baby Sheepman, Juan, Slick, Josh, and Marvin. Yeah. Interesting. Now it's time for this week's bet. Here it is. Okay, so last week I did a roll the dice running back challenge because that's how I lost week 1 to you. We had to pick 5 running backs, or in this case, it ended up being 4 running backs. I picked Saquon Barkley, Breece Hall, Jordan Mason, and Ramondre Stevenson. Gave me a point total of 68 points. You picked Kyron Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Isaiah Pacheco, and Jerome Ford, giving you a total of 48.
Yeah.
Good choices, except for the Jerome Ford, because I don't understand why they're not using him as the primary,
or even just like the goal line guy, right?
Sure, but no.
I guess Cleveland's got to start getting down to the goal line for them to use him. I guess. So
that's also true.
We're tied 1-1.
Tied 1-1.
I gave you a little bit of a preview last night.
Yeah, you were going to do another roll the dice challenge.
You got a couple of dice there.
I got a whole dice tube ready to go.
You cannot use the same dice for both.
Okay.
We're going to do, if you can do 2 little charts, one for wide receivers and one for quarterbacks.
Okay. So I need it 5x4, 5x5. Okay, 5x5, and so we're going to do QBs and wide receivers.
Yeah, the second one will be for wide receivers yet.
Okay. All right. And we're going to roll to see how many. What are the parameters of...
Yeah, so it could be... Maybe we're only going to pick one QB. If you roll
so we're going to let the dice decide completely, because mine was 1, 2, and 3. It's just 3. If it's 4, then it's 4, 5, and 5, 6, and 6.
Whatever the dice tells us.
Whatever. Let the dice decide. I love it. Let the dice decide. Okay, so... All right, so right now I got it set up that we're going to do 4 of each, but let's wait and see what the dice decide. All right,
let's do
dice number 1 for the quarterbacks. All right, bear with me. 3. We got to pick 3, so we don't need this. Delete this row. Boom, done. Okay. You ready?
I will be in about 2 seconds.
I was going to roll for the wide receivers.
Oh, sure, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, ready? We're going to roll for the wide receivers, and wait, nope, that one fell on the floor.
Okay. Ooh.
2 wide receivers.
5 players in total.
Okay. Now, are we going... Oh, no. There it is. Are we going to alternate? You go, I go, you go, I go?
Yep. Okay. I hate this guy, but...
this is going to be good.
I got to take Josh Allen.
Okay.
I think he's going to destroy Jacksonville, and he's going to run the hell out of the ball again.
Okay. So you're going Josh Allen. Oh, fair enough. That's
I'm looking at matchups right now.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to pick a team, obviously, that's going to be... I would think I would pick a quarterback that's going to be in a passing situation, right?
Yeah.
So maybe not going to win. I'm going Kyler Murray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I think both teams are going to fight it out, score high points, and Kyler's going to have to keep it.
Yeah, he might not win the game, but it might be like 34-30.
I don't want him to win the game. I just want him to score lots of points.
Yeah.
So I win the game in many places.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to take Joe Burrow because they're playing Washington.
Joe Burrow. Okay. You're not worried about Joe having a slow start to the season? You think this might be a get-right game for him?
It might be. Especially if Higgins comes back. Then he's got Chase, Higgins,
Yosivas.
Whatever.
Huh. Okay, so games that I think that'll be close. You know what? I'm going to take your boy, CJ Stroud.
Okay.
I think that's going to be a close game with Minnesota, and I think he's going to have to pump it up. So CJ.
And I think this is going to have to be a breakout game for some players because Pacheco's out. I got to go Mahomes.
Oh, you want Mahomes?
Yeah. So I got 2 out of my 3 boys, or 2 out of my 2. I got my 2 boys and my
Patrick Mahomes
and my arch enemy.
Okay. Ooh, all right. Okay. I'm torn here. Like, I know who I would like to pick, but he's not playing. I could go Derek Carr and ride the hot hand.
Ooh, that would be
right. And see, Lamar Jackson might be an option because he's starting
to run more.
He is, but it is against Dallas, so it's not a plus matchup. Jalen Hurts, not a plus matchup.
The thing with Baltimore though is they're 0-2. They gotta bounce back eventually.
But they've also played against some tougher teams, right? So this is just again against another tough defense. So my options here are really, I'm looking at, do I go with the hot hand and Derek Carr, or do I go to somebody who I think could get some serious run?
The other guy that I looked at, to be honest with you,
I'm gonna go Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, no,
I think I'm just gonna. I want to take that running floor versus Derek Carr's big long bomb.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Wide receivers.
Okay, so you go first on the wide receiver.
Oh no, you go first. We're still alternating. Let's keep going. It's tough. Like you're making some.
You know what? I'm gonna go CeeDee Lamb. That's gonna be a high scoring game, I think. Baltimore is gonna be a high scoring game.
Okay. Wow. Okay. You know who I'm going with? Nico Collins.
Oh, okay. You think he's gonna have a big one against Minnesota?
Yeah. Well, I think he's the dude. He's a Michigan boy, so I love that. Go Blue. And after watching their game and how angry he got with how the DBs were treating him on the field, like, this guy plays tough and angry, and I love that. He has been pretty reliable week in and week out, getting the amount of targets and just making stuff work. So yeah, I'm going, hang on. He's got a hip foot injury. He missed practice today. He's expected to play Sunday. Is still expected to play Sunday against the Vikings despite missing practice on Wednesday. He's dealing with both hip and foot injuries. His status is still worth monitoring as practice Thursday and Friday. Okay, well, here I thought I was being super smart. Oh, that's tough. Okay, you know what? I'm going to pivot because I can't pick a guy who's in a chance of not playing this week. I'm going to go Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, I was looking at him.
Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay. Some great names still left on the board. Rashee Rice, St. Brown, Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Mike Evans, Ayuk, Tyreek.
Who are they playing? They're playing Philly. Ooh. I was thinking Shaheed, but...
Yeah, looking for someone with that big playability, hey?
Yeah. I'm going to take the chance at Justin Jefferson. They're playing Houston. I think, again, this could be a higher...
It could be a back and forth.
Yeah. And if they go down, like if they're trailing at halftime, then Minnesota's going to have to throw the ball even more. So only taking 2 guys makes it a lot... It's a tougher decision, right? Because it's like, oh my God, I could take Williams and he might not go off.
Yeah, could take Jamar Chase, who would complement your Burrow, but he hasn't been able to get it done in the first 2 weeks, so I'm not overly excited. Yeah. Rashee Rice, who's been good, might have to be great.
Yeah. I mean, the top guy right now.
Yeah.
And they're going up against Denver. But then you got Mike Evans. If Godwin doesn't...
It could go either way.
Yeah, right? Like, that team is one guy's going to feast and the other guy's not going to get nothing, right? So
okay, well, I'm tempted to go Amon-Ra. I still want to go Nico Collins. I'm just terrified of that injury designation.
Yeah. Huh?
You know what? I'm going to do Rashee Rice. I'm going to take advantage of the...
Nice.
Yeah, I want to go Amon St. Brown. I want to go Nico Collins. I'm torn because I think if I go Amon St. Brown, I'm putting all of my eggs in one basket with the Detroit and Arizona game. So I want to diversify. Nico Collins will be my first choice, hands down. But that silly injury could really bung things up. And I like the matchup. I like the player. But I think I will go Rashee Rice. Yeah, I'll lock that in. Rashee Rice.
Because he's only 3 points behind those guys that you were just talking about.
Sure, and Xavier Worthy might steal it. Travis Kelce might show up, but if you think Patrick Mahomes is going to feast, then maybe Rashee Rice has got to be involved somehow.
Yeah. Yep.
So
He's gonna
those
get
are my
yards and
gambles.
touches.
My selections: Kyler Murray, C.J. Stroud, Lamar Jackson. Wide receiver, I got Marvin Harrison Jr., Rashee Rice. Your selections: Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. Wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson.
I think this is going to come down to 1 or 2 points between the two.
We want it to be close, right? You don't want it to be
Yeah.
blowouts. It's got to be fun. It's got to keep us gripped to the edge of our seats.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's it for this week, folks. Thank you very much for sticking around and enjoying the show. Hopefully you had a good time as much as we enjoyed having you here. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Poor Man Football, all one word. Tell your friends, leave a review. Come back next week, because next week we're going to be reviewing what happened this weekend. It's going to be fun. Hopefully, no more injuries.
I was going to say,
we finally made some good predictions. All right. From one poor man to another, remember, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. Good night, everybody.
Have a great week, everybody.
And we're out. It's ridiculous how many